Welcome, friends. Welcome back to the Right Away After Party, and we're glad you're here. My name's Kath,
And I'm Nick.
and together we're talking about pulling stories from ourselves from our either idyllic or challenging past. And it turns out that my idyllic past became challenging
Yeah.
by my own hand. Uh,
Well, not necessarily. It was catapulted, not from your hands.
I'm setting the timer, which I forgot. There we
So
go.
this is part three of pulling the story.
Pulling
It's
the story.
pulling the story.
So
And
you were talking about memoir and maybe,
yes,
writing these memoirs. And
yes,
funny enough, I'm just next week I'm starting my fall the classes that I facilitate, writing classes I facilitate, and
yes.
memoir is what we're going to focus on this time.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's very
It's
exciting.
funny. Well, I thought for a minute, oh, memoir. But there's a good book I'm planning on using, and
Okay.
well, we'll see. There's a choice of books, so I usually leave it up to the group to vote,
Yeah. Okay.
and uh, and then we start writing and reading and learning.
Yeah. Well,
So
I want to get back to our book eventually, and I mean, I love that we have a dual memoir. We have so many synchronicities, and that's what was such a beautiful thing about the memoir we were writing. But we were definitely having to pull story from there. Like it was just interesting how some of our stories had such similar, linear lines to,
mm,
like our swan story. How you had a swan story and I had a swan story.
yes, yes, I forgot about that. We were having a lot of fun, and then I
Well, you
started
had your
working so
accident.
much, and then
Yeah,
you started working so much.
yeah, and you were having cognitive issues at the time. Remember, you were having all those cognitive issues too. So everything kind of but the thing is, like, I remember when we before we started that book that we both had made a commitment that we would finish it, and then we did that reading, and it said that it was going to be challenging, and we're going to have to be flexible, but ultimately it would be successful if we finished it. So
Yeah,
it's definitely something to circle back to.
definitely, definitely. But it led to this
Yeah,
in
it
the
led
interim.
us.
It
Yeah,
led to
absolutely.
this.
Absolutely. And then that may lead us to having an audience for this. Who knows? I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows? I don't, yeah, I don't ever question process. I just kind
So
of
I
go with
think
it.
I think the big takeaway, at least for me, the big takeaway is don't discount any part of your life. It doesn't have to be in a memoir form.
Yeah.
Don't discount any adventures or non-adventures that you had or may not have had to include in your books, which is why I always tell the writers that I coach is if you're in some kind of high emotional situation or mood,
Mm.
or like you've had a big loss, or you've had something amazing happen, or you're crying and you can't stop and you don't quite know why, write it down.
Yeah.
Write down the feelings, the words. If you have no words, write down that you have no words and keep writing. I have no words, I have no words, I have no words about how I'm feeling. Because if you write it long enough, your brain is going to tell you, actually, I do have words.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to tell you how I feel deep inside here. I've got a knot that feels like it swallowed a tennis ball, and it's hairy and it's prickly and it's hurting me, and I can't dis because when you come to sit down in your calm, normal frame of mind to write your story, whatever you're writing about, if you haven't written down those very powerful words when you were feeling those very powerful emotions, you're going to have trouble recollecting them.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think that's why I called it pulling the story, because you're gonna have to pull up those emotions and be in that moment, you know.
Mm.
And a lot of that takes bravery, and it also takes another element, and we'll discuss that in part four.
Oh,
And this will
four.
be the end of this segment. Oh, it went so fast.
It did. I'm sorry. Maybe
All
two.
right, writer friends, please join us for part four and find out what is the secret ingredient of pulling a story from you.
There you
See
go.
you
Thanks, Nick.
soon.